more regulation. Well, I told you, I speak about this from the point of view of not just philosophy. I do agree with the philosophy and the ideas, but I speak about it because I made it work for me. And I made it work for me under what could have been described as the worst of circumstances. Became mayor of New York City, tremendous deficits, large unemployment, tremendous lack of spirit, people leaving the city, jobs leaving, and a commission had been put together. Don't you love commissions? A commission for everything. But there was a commission put together how to solve the fiscal problems of New York City. And they wrote up a big report, and they sent it to me a couple of weeks after I was elected. The New York Times really liked this report a lot. So the New York Times wanted to know, what are you going to do with the report? The report recommended higher taxes, higher regulations, more fees, more government control. I said, well, you know what I'm going to do with the report? In fact, I think I've already done it. I'm going to throw it in the garbage. And I did. I threw it in the garbage. And what I did was I went in the other direction. We went line by line, and we cut spending. We reduced the burden of regulations. We privatized to the extent that we could. And here's what we did over and over and over again. We cut taxes. I recommended 64 tax cuts. We accomplished 23 of them that I approved. We cut taxes by over $9 billion. We took the income tax and reduced it by 24%. And by the time I was finished, we were collecting 41% more revenues from the low tax than we used to collect from the high tax. So don't tell me that our welfare offices, we gave them a new name and a new function. You know what the new name of the welfare offices were in New York? Job centers. Job centers. It took a lot more than just rhetoric. It took a lot more than just tinkering with a few laws and regulations. What it took was transforming a culture. In the case of New York, it meant taking on the very bad ideas, the liberal ideas that were at the core of the city's decline for several generations. It meant taking on a belief that taxpayers exist to serve government. Other way around. Government exists to serve you, the people. That's the way it's supposed to work. And I have to tell you, it was really good training so that I'll be able to be the one to take on Washington and change the culture of spending in this city, just like I did in New York. Democrats illustrate one of President Ronald Reagan's favorite quotations. Public funds seemingly belong to no one, and the temptation to bestow them on someone is irresistible. That's a temptation the Democrats just can't seem to avoid. Let me give you one very recent example. Hillary Clinton the other day proposed giving every single baby born in the United States a Hillary bond worth $5,000 each. Now, I know this never occurs to the people like Hillary and the other Democrats here in Washington. But you know something? I got news for you. This costs money. Doesn't come from the trees. Doesn't come down from heaven. It costs money. And when I hear a proposal like that, unlike the Democrats who make it, who, by the way, in the case of the three leading Democrats, have never run a city, they've never run a state, I don't think they've ever run a business. They want you to give them on-the-job executive training in the executive office of the United States. President. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. What do you think? How about you never drove before and we're going to give you this complex machine? You want somebody flying your airplane that has no hours of experience flying airplanes? Not me. But this is why they make proposals like this. When I hear that, first moment I heard Hillary wants to give away $5,000 bonds to every child born in the United States. You know the first question I asked? How many children are born in the United States? Because I'm going to multiply that by the $5,000. Because I ran a city. I've run a business. I know how to make a payroll, and I know how to reduce expenses. You know how much money it is per year? $20 billion. Hillary, that's real money. You and Bill can't afford that. It's got to come out of somebody's pockets. You know who it comes out of? Yours. Mine. Hard-working Americans. Hard-earned tax dollars. $20 billion? And it's going to be more than that. Because we're going to have to add to that the cost of the large bureaucracy that's going to have to print up the bonds, right, with Hillary's picture on them. You have to print up the bonds. You got to mail them out to all 4 million kids, right? You may just have to check and make sure you're getting valid birth certificates. You think somebody might think of cheating if they get... No, we'll just send them all the money. That's, you know. Now, the other question is, if she's going to do this, maybe she'll make it retroactive. And did you ever think that children of illegal immigrants will have to get this bond? They're born in the United States. They're citizens of the United States. And some of the people who get this bond, this money, may not need it. Suppose the Gates have another child. Suppose they have twins. You'll be sending them 10 grand. I know they get real upset when I say, you know, Hillary and John Edwards and Barack Obama want to move us to socialized medicine. Well, they do, you know. But tell me this isn't a socialist idea. Tell me this doesn't come out of a wellspring of thinking that has its roots in socialism. Send everybody a $5,000 bond. George McGovern wanted to send everybody a $1,000 check back in 1972. And if you figure out what 1,000 is worth now, you know what it's worth now? $4,810. Bad socialist ideas never die. They get resurrected in one way or another. Each Democratic candidate promises to raise taxes. You can be sure, you know, this is a promise they're going to keep.